Welcome to the Transportation Benefit District, and for April 17th, 2018. I'm Commissioner John Hutchings, and I'm chairing this meeting. And we'll start with introductions. To my far left is Commissioner Gary Edwards, and immediate left, of course, is Board Chair Commissioner Bud Blake, and Marcy. What's your last name?
Taylor.
Marcy Taylor, the clerk of the board, and we have Jennifer Walker, Public Works Director, Ramiro Chavez, County Manager, and Scott Lindblom. And what's your title, Scott?
Assistant County Engineer.
I knew you were County Engineer, but I didn't know if I was going to miss something by not saying certified or state, eminent or something like that.
Eminent sounds good.
So thank you. So moving right along, do I have an approval for the agenda for today? Anyone?
Yes, I would make a motion to approve the agenda for today.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Just say the date.
For April 17th, 2018. Yes?
April 18th.
No?
No.
Oh, April 17th, 2018.
I need a redo.
Second.
And move seconded with the date as amended. And all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Approved. It's approved.
Good. This motion carries.
Motion carries. We have an approval for the meeting minutes from April 18, 2017.
I would so move for the meeting minutes from April 18th, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
There you go. All right.
Item number 2. Now we're at the opportunity for the public to address the board. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address the board, the Transportation Benefit District Board? Anyone? Okay, we're moving right along. Item number 3 is department items. Public Works ratify the election of the Thurston County Transportation Benefit District officers for 2018.
Okay.
You want to start with that,
Sure.
or Jennifer going to start with that?
I'll do it real
Okay.
quick. Okay, sure. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Hutchings as the president of the Thurston County Transportation Benefit Board, with the vice president is Commissioner Gary Edwards, and myself as the board member.
And I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded. We can do it all in one lump sum? Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And that motion carries. And so we have a board
Okay.
ratified.
Very official.
Do you have anything more with that, Jennifer? Or is that it?
No, that's it
takes
for that
care of
item.
that? Okay. Item 3B, 2016 Thurston County Transportation Benefit District Annual Report. Jennifer.
Yes, so before I get into those two agenda items, I did want to give a brief background for the Transportation Benefit District, Thurston County's Transportation Benefit District, because it has been about a year since we met, if that's okay with you.
Yes,
Okay.
it is, yes.
So under RCW 3673020, cities and counties have the authority to create local transportation benefit districts to collect revenue to help fund transportation improvements needed as a result of existing or reasonably foreseeable congestion levels. And so recognizing that the Transportation Benefit District was a useful tool to help the county with preserving and enhancing the county's transportation facilities, on December 30th, 2014, the Thurston County Commissioners adopted an ordinance creating a Transportation Benefit District, or TBD, which covers the unincorporated areas of Thurston County. The Thurston County Transportation Benefit District was created to help fund important road preservation and transportation improvements with 3 primary areas: preserving our existing transportation infrastructure, improving road and driver safety, and replacing outdated systems and tools with updated technology. So at this point in time, the Transportation Benefit District is not funded. And under item agenda 3D, the county engineer, Scott Lindblom, and county traffic engineer, Scott Davies, will do a presentation with a little bit more detail about the benefit district.
Good, thank you.
Okay. So item 3B, this is to an item for the 2016 Thurston County Transportation Benefit District Annual Report, requesting the approval of or acceptance of that and to have it posted in Thurston County's newspaper, available newspaper posted. Some of the items were required per RCW 3673-160 to end our Thurston County Transportation Benefit District, and if it's okay with you, I'll just start saying TBD as opposed to, okay. Charter requires that the TBD issue an annual report indicating the status of our transportation improvement costs, improvements, expenditures, revenues, and construction schedules to the public. And considering these item requirements, staff has prepared a 2016 report. It outlines some accomplishments from 2016, such as implementing the communication and outreach plan, holding a public hearing on August 16th, and then developing a draft plan for services. There were approximately a little over $16,564.11 in liabilities that was created as a result of those efforts that will be carried over, that if it were to be funded, the TBD would be reimbursed for that. And the report, you have a copy in front of you, so if you have any questions or changes that you want made, we can do that. Otherwise, just asking for your consideration to accept.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No questions.
No questions for the annual report, but I will when we go to the presentation. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you.
I'm ready.
Yes, do I have a motion?
Yes, I would move to accept the 2016 Thurston County Transportation Benefit District Annual Report and direct staff to post its availability in the newspaper of record for Thurston County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And that motion carries. 3C.
Yes, so item 3C is for the acceptance and posting of the 2017 Transportation Benefit District Report. The items that were major accomplishments as a result of efforts in 2017 were adopting a material change policy. So basically setting up, establishing criteria, parameters around if there's a change in scope, schedule, or cost for projects being funded by the Transportation Benefit District, that there would be some requirements to come back if any of those, if there was a change in scope, schedule, or cost, to come back to the board for consideration.
Okay.
The efforts in 2017 resulted in $1,981.95 in liabilities from Thurston County Public Works to carry out those duties. And again, if it were Transportation Benefit District were funded, we would reimburse for those.
What was it, $1,081?
$1,981.95.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Any questions or comments?
Oh, 17?
No.
Do you have a motion?
I do have a motion. I move to accept the 2017 Thurston County Transportation Benefit District Annual Report and direct staff to post its availability in the newspaper of record for Thurston County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the 2017 annual report and direct staff to post it in the newspaper of record. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. Now 3D David, or Delta. Presentation TBD. Why it matters.
Yes.
Now, who's going to do that? Which,
I think they're going to,
Scott?
both Scots.
Yeah.
Scott and then Scott.
Scott show.
Okay.
Scott show.
Team Scott.
We'll see how it goes. Scott Davis.
Scott Walker. Mr. Davis, rather. Go ahead.
Scott Davis, Thurston County Public Works. Let's see what page. Okay, here's the bluff is basically we're just looking to give you. It's a great acronym.
No, especially for an engineer, huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. But basically give you an overview of Thurston County.
You may want to spell out what block.
Oh, bottom line up front. So basically, basically intended to just give a summary of this presentation in hopefully 30 seconds or less, or a sentence or two. So what we're here to do today is just give you an overview of the Thurston County TBD, as it resides right now, just kind of give mostly a 20,000-foot overview, I guess is probably a best description for it. And so starting out with the TPD, as Jennifer mentioned, was formed in 2014. With the charter, the way the charter was set up, is primary purposes of the district was for acquisition, construction, improvements, provisions for funding transportation improvements necessitated by existing or reasonable foreseeable congestion levels. And that's right out of the RCWs. And so when the TPD was set up to deal with the future traffic volumes and population growth here, the goal was to reduce the risk of transportation facility failure, improve safety, and increase operating efficiency while preserving and maintaining optimal performance while avoiding expensive infrastructure replacements in the future by investing now and proactively. So Thurston County is one of many TPDs in the state. We're one of five county transportation benefit districts. So none of the county, well actually only one county has a funded transportation benefit district, and that's Whatcom County, but it's for a little chunk of area. It is adjacent to Canada. It's called Point Roberts. The only way you can get to it by land is through Canada. So they have a fuel tax apparently. So anyway, but that's the only county TPD it's funded. I believe there's roughly around 90 total transportation benefit districts within the state. So again, most of those are actually cities, not counties. Next slide, Scott. So when the TPD was formed in 2014, its intent was at the time was look at preservation, so preserving our existing system. So we have over 1,000 miles of roadway, over 100 bridges. We have guardrail, traffic signals, signs, lighting, the whole works. And so one of the concepts was to preserve the existing system, take care of what we have. Also looking at that is taking care of safety. Safety is important, so that was another component of that, as well as technology. And just like preservation, technology, we have aging traffic systems that need attention as well. So in regards to preservation, in 10 years, based on staff projections, we expect almost 50% of our county pavement conditions to be considered in poor condition. And so the TPD was intended to look at boosting the existing resurfacing efforts. But again, as I mentioned, preservation isn't just asphalt pavement, but it's also guardrail and a lot of other infrastructure that's out there right now. In regards to safety, in 2012 to 2016, we had over 131 fatal and serious crashes. We're almost done with the county road safety plan that we'll be bringing to you once we get it a little bit nearer to completion. But again, the TPD was intended to look at safety and look at it proactively, more strategically. And also, it could also be used to leverage federal dollars as well, because a lot of safety work we do is using federal dollars. Oftentimes they require local matches, so it's possible to use the TPD to leverage those other funds as well, instead of the county road fund. In regards to technology, technology is a lot of things really. You can do safety, efficiency, and a lot of things, but some of the most basic technology improvements we have are school and crosswalk beacons, and we have over 100 of those right now. And a lot of and some of our, as I mentioned, some of our oldest traffic signal systems date back to the 70s. So there's a lot of things out there we take care of. And many of the citizens, especially in school zones, rely on those school beacons to slow vehicles down or notify drivers that they're about, kids or other folks are ready to cross the road. And so again, it's just part of the overall safety infrastructure we have on our roadway system. Again, the TPD was intended, and the way the programs are set up was intended to be more of a programmatic approach to system priorities versus many TPDs are project specific. And so it was intended to give flexibility to the board to target improvements on a programmatic basis versus being restricted entirely to a project list, I guess. It's adopted by ordinance. I think that's it. I think you're up, Scott.
All right, Aim. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Holding this at the right spot. I'm hearing it.
You clip it.
Oh, there we go. How's that?
Yep.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Well, looking at the wrong slide there. So there's several funding opportunities available for you. Should you choose to pursue a funding option, and I'm getting some feedback. There, that might be a little bit better. Some of these funding options are councilmatic, meaning that the board can take action without a public vote. Others require a public vote. And I'm going to just run through real briefly what some of those options are. The annual vehicle license fee, or otherwise known as car tabs, that is something that if the board so chose, they could issue take councilmatic action to enact that fee. Excuse me, as well as transportation impact fees on commercial and industrial buildings. Now, certainly the funding options that are available, they're not really a magic wand. They won't make all of our transportation problems go away. That would take a far more robust funding source. What the TBD funding could do is really provide some funding to address some of the priority areas that Scott Davis went through just a moment ago. There's other voter-approved options that the TBD board has available to them, including a sales and use tax up to 0.2%. That can be enacted for a 10-year period. Property taxes, the one-year excess levy or excess levy for capital purposes. Additionally, the TBD board could choose to enact a annual vehicle license fee or car tab up to $100 per year per vehicle, as well as vehicle tolls. That's another option. And all these are options. There could perhaps be some mixing and mingling if the board so chose. But as just a reminder, the TBD board to date has not established any funding mechanism. The Thurston County Commission recently completed a citizen survey in December and January of 2018. It was the Citizen Priority Survey, really intended to feed into the comprehensive plan update that the commissioners are doing, the strategic plan, rather, excuse me. In that survey, there was nearly 3,000 participants that took part. And a couple of the interesting things that really sprung out at us when we looked at that is, when you look at the roads and infrastructure, 97% of those surveyed see roads and infrastructure as a high value for them. And of those, 66% were satisfied with the roads and infrastructure as we have it now. And in addition, over 50% of the residents were actually willing to pay more for roads and infrastructure, as well as assistance for the elderly. Of the 12 areas, those are the only two that 50% or more said that they'd be willing to pay more for. And of those that were surveyed, only 8% were willing to actually see cuts in the roads and infrastructure services. So it was kind of striking to us, and it showed that based on the survey, there are residents in the community that would support funding, but that's certainly up to the TBD board to choose which way they would like to go on this. Finally, at our next meeting, what we'd like to do is take a look at some of these funding options in a bit more detail, perhaps give you some idea of what the different funding mechanisms could generate in terms of revenue, and also give you some idea of what some of those improvements actually could be given certain funding scenarios. And with that, that concludes the brief presentation from the Thurston County TBD, or one of the best presentations of the year so far.
With the TBD, yeah.
Questions?
Undoubtedly the best of.
Questions or comments?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
For the jurisdictions locally here, how many have passed the TBD, and what method did they use, and are there any over the horizon that are considering passing the TBD on their up for discussion? Any of the jurisdictions?
No. Well, of the 3 local cities, City of Olympia has a car tab fee, and I believe that was recently raised to $40. City of Tumwater has a sales tax, and City of Lacey, I believe, also enacted a sales tax recently in the last year or so.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I guess I would ask, are there any county jurisdictions that have utilized this?
There are, of the 5 different county TBDs, none have enacted a funding mechanism except for the Point Roberts within Whatcom County, which was I forget the exact term, it was a border area fuel tax, because that was the small area of Whatcom County only accessible through Canada.
Okay.
Another question, if I may. If we were to go to the car tab, just for clarity, that would be for those who live in the unincorporated portion of the county.
Yes.
Is that confirmed?
Correct.
So I've got several questions. The car tab at $20 per vehicle, I understand a couple things. That this is what this with the city of Olympia it was anyway. I don't know if it's different for county. The county could implement up to $20 per car without going to a vote of the people, but anything over $20 has to go to the vote of the people.
Right now, if the TBD board chose to enact car tabs for vehicle license fees, they could do up to a $20 vehicle license fee. Once that's been in place for 2 years, that fee can be increased to $40, or up to $50 actually, I believe, as a councilmatic action.
Right. But as I'm told, I think the way the law is written, they could do, or we could do $20. Late Olympia did it, $20, because if they wanted to raise it more than 20, it had to go to the vote of the people. So they kept it at 20. And then every 2 years, they can increase it to 20 more, because if they increased it more than that, it had to go to the vote of the people. So I don't know if that's correct or not.
Commissioner, you're 50% correct.
Thank you.
And I think what you're citing is the old law.
Okay.
And where it was councilmatic, you had the option legislatively to implement a $20 car tab fee. And then beyond that, it was a vote of the people. It was back in 2016, during the legislative session, where they changed that and give you that ability that Scott described. You have the option at this point to implement up to $40. That's your maximum, right? But you can, if you choose to implement a $20 car tab fee, the law it states you need to have a 2-year waiting period. That's what happened with Olympia. Olympia implemented a $20 car tab fee, 2-year waiting period, and now they are implementing a $40 car tab fee. So there is a couple of options related to that particular funding strategy they have in front of you.
And we could exempt tractors, trailers, implements, farm implements and such?
Yeah,
We would
you
have
can
that
implement exceptions within the car tab fee as you see feasible.
All right. And I believe a couple years ago, there was an estimate with a $20 increase in the tabs, how much that would bring in annually. And I'm thinking like $1.5 million or $2 million.
I think at this point it's close to $2 million. The numbers that you may recall, it was about 1.8. But
Yes.
considering the fleet of the vehicles in the county have increased, the population have increased, we might be probably bordering $2 million if that is the decision.
And if the county were to do the sales tax piece of that, that was about double in income or revenue, or half of that?
The contrary.
Contrary, okay, half of
because
that.
the county does not have much of a sales tax base that can generate that sort of revenue. So it's different than the cities, because the cities is where they have a lot of businesses and a lot of sales tax base they can probably generate. And I believe the city of Olympia, the city of Lacey, as well as the city of Tumwater, they have the same options. But the vehicle license fee didn't generate a net revenue to what they intended to do. So they choose to go with the sales tax, which is a higher revenue.
Higher revenue,
And the
okay.
county is the reverse.
All right.
And I believe that as a Board of County Commissioners, that's one of your main objectives, to increase economic development in the unincorporated areas of the county.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
No, thank you.
No, nor do I. There's no action needed on that. That is just a presentation. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Scott. Anything further, County Manager, or anything, Jennifer, or anything? No? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I would move to adjourn the Thurston County Transportation Benefit District meeting of Tuesday, April 17th, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to end and adjourn. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.